Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. And since we're going in reverse alphabetical order, we are in the R's, and we're sort of at the beginning of the R's, or at least towards the beginning of the R's. And as some of you have so shrewdly predicted, we have arrived at Ravel. And oh my, this is going to be a long series. Maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 videos, I think, just to get through it all. I've got tons of Ravel because everybody does Ravel. And, you want to hear, because it's such amazing orchestration, largely as orchestral works anyway, you want to hear how everybody sounds playing Ravel. I mean, it really shows off an orchestra's strengths and weaknesses. And, the fascinating thing is just how little he composed compared to how much of it accumulated here in the Overflow room and elsewhere and upstairs and everywhere. I mean, it's just so much of it everywhere. The Guinness Book of World Records actually made a list of, most famous composers who wrote the least amount of music. And Ravel won because his entire output is I don't know, maybe 15 hours of music or so, or I mean, even someone like Mahler, who only wrote, 10 and a half symphonies and 42 songs and Das Klagende Lied. I mean, that's Mahler. It winds up adding, probably anyway, to, oh, look, there's Finster. She loves staring out the window. Winds up taking more time than all of Ravel. It's astonishing how little he composed, but how good all of it is. That's the thing. There's practically nothing he wrote that is not part of the active repertoire. So that's a pretty astonishing record. I mean, he was a perfectionist, an extraordinary perfectionist. I have a fairly large clump of Ravel here that we can get started with. I mean, here we have, what's this? Bolero, Rhapsody Espagnole, Daphnis and Chloe Suite No. 2, and Honegger Symphony No. 2 with Charles Munch and the Orchestra de Paris. This was his late stuff after he left Boston and before his rather untimely passing in the mid-1960s. I think this was recorded, does it tell us exactly what the dates are on the back? No, I'm not going to look. I mean, trust me, it was in like the mid to late 60s. This Bolero is kind of remarkable. It's 17 minutes long. It's about the same speed as Ravel's own, one of Ravel's own recordings. It's wonderful. The Rhapsody Espagnole it's good. The Daphnis and Chloe is good. The Honegger 2 is marvelous. And so that's Charles Munch doing Ravel. Then we have this very, very interesting disc on Supraphon with Libor Peszek of the Czech Philharmonic, Bolero and the Daphnis and Chloe Suites 1 and 2. Most people never do number 1, so it's kind of nifty to have here. These are beautiful performances. It's the Czech Philharmonic and all that. It's one of the things you really want to hear an orchestra like that do Ravel, because they're a fabulous French orchestra. They really are. They have that sound that the French orchestras used to have back in the day, where nothing blends with anything else, and every section is very characterful, and they're quite rhythmic and precise. I mean, they really are excellent in French music. Then we've got this Jean Martinon with the NHK Symphony Orchestra live in Tokyo, and you've got the Daphnis and Chloe Second Suite and the Mother Goose Suite and Rhapsody Espagnole and Bolero. Of course, Martinon's Ravel is amazing. He did all of it, all of the orchestral works, along with the Debussy orchestral works, and they're just fantastic. And so this live thing is a wonderful memento with an orchestra that would not be as familiar with the music as some of the others he worked with. And then we've got Munch does Ravel. This is one of these French RCA twofer things. And you've got the complete Daphnis and Chloe, which of course is amazing. It depends which one this is. He did it twice in Boston. And let me just take a look and see which one we get here. You have to pry it loose, and let's see. Recorded. This is the early one, 55. The remake in 1962, I think, is better, but that's me. And let's see. The Pavane, of course. The Bolero, Rhapsody Espagnole, La Valse, the Mother Goose Suite, and the Dukas, Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is probably one of the best things on the disc. I don't actually find Munch's Ravel generally to be that astonishing. He was better at sort of heavier, more dramatic pieces, except for Daphnis and Chloe, which was something he did amazingly well. But they're very good, and it's Boston, and they sound great, and what's to complain? The Piano Concerti, one of the greatest recordings ever, with Samson Francois, André Cluites, and the Orchestral de la Société des Concerts du Conservatoire. Yeah, the Paris Conservatory Orchestra, and both piano concertos and Gaspard de la Nuit, because Francois was a fabulous Ravelist, a Ravelian and reveler, if you want to call him that. Oh, this is just beyond great. It really is. There it is. There. Take a look, guys. Grab this. You have to own it. You absolutely have to own it. It's just amazing. Alicia de la Rocha, Ravel Piano Concertos with Leonard Slatkin in St. Louis, and the Valse Noble et Sentimentale and the Sonatine. Some beautiful stuff. These are super. They're just superb. Of course, the thing is that she did both piano concertos for Decca a little bit earlier, and maybe some people will find those performances to be a little better. They're both wonderful. I mean, she really, really had this repertoire pegged. It's great stuff. This is from her later RCA recordings, and that's awfully nice to have. Then we've got this very strange little disc on Naïve Valois, the two piano concertos and the orchestral version of the Tombeau de Couperin with Hussein Sermet, and let's see, playing a Kawai concert grand piano X. I don't know whether that matters to anybody. And the Orchestre National de Lyon with Emmanuel Crevin. These are good. I hang on to them because I collect the Ravel piano concertos mostly. So I kept it. It's not one of those performances that like leaps out and grabs you and gives you a shake, you know. But it's very, very good. Then we have Eugene Ormandy in Philly and Charles Munch as well, believe it or not. So Ormandy does Bolero, Rhapsody Espagnole, Alborada del Gracioso, the Tombeau de Couperin, and Munch with Philly does the Valse Noble et Sentimentale. So this is a wonderful disc on Essential Classics, which is like long, totally, completely out of print. But all that stuff gets boxed up somewhere, somehow. Lauren Mazel conducts Ravel with the Vienna Philharmonic. I collect these just to hear how unidiomatic they sound, and they do. And especially with Mazel, who could be very, as we know, kind of strange. So we've got Daphnis and Chloe Suites 1 and 2, the Rhapsody Espagnole, La Valse, and Bolero, and they are, let's just say, uncomfortable and strange sounding. I mean, the balances, the timbres, everything about it's all just slightly off, as was his Debussy, by the way, with these people. So there you go. Abbado, fabulous Ravel with the London Symphony, the complete Daphnis and Chloe, Alborada del Gracioso, and Bolero. Wonderful performances. The Bolero is one of the ones where they all yell at the end. Da 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 dum ba da da wah wah yum ba da da wah. You know, he has them all shouting. It's really fun. These are wonderful performances. Abbado's Ravel cycle was one of the best things he did, especially in London. And then we have the Pinoca Quartet playing the Sook Quartet number 1 from 1896. It's just an incredible piece. And the Meditation on an Old Czech Hymn, St. Wenceslas, and the Ravel Quartet. Gorgeous performances. And it's not the usual stuff because you always get the Ravel with the Debussy and maybe something else, modern or something, just to stir the pot. So this is really, really fun to have. It's a wonderful recording on super fun. Anything the Pinoca Quartet did, you should hear. I mean, they were phenomenal. And then we've got, let's see, Ellie Ameling and Hildegard Behrens on Decca Eloquence. Berlioz's Les Nuits d'été with Hildegard Behrens and the Wiener Symphoniker under Francis Travis. Well, that's unusual, isn't it? Not my favorite Les Nuits d'été, let's put it that way. But you've got Scheherazade, and the rest of this stuff is with Ellie Ameling. Scheherazade, Chanson Triste, L'Invitation au Voyage by Duparc, and Debussy's La Demoiselle Élue with Janice Taylor, mezzo-soprano, with the San Francisco Symphony, and Edo de Wart in Everything Else. And that is a great record for Ameling fans and Ameling people and Scheherazade people and Debussy people and Duparc people. It's just great. Ameling was just amazing in that repertoire. Then we've got, this is fun, the two piano concertos with Jean Doyen piano and the Lamoureux Orchestra under Jean Fournet from 1954. This is pre-Markevich Lamoureux, so that's fun to hear. They were kind of grotty, but it's fun to hear. And the performances are, echt, authentic, idiomatic, authentique. I like echt better. Let's see, what's this thing? Oh, Arlene Auger, the Philharmonia, and Libor Peshek doing Alborada del Gracioso and Scheherazade and the Vocalise en forme d'Habanera, orchestrated by Arthur Aurier, something like that. La Valse, the Pavane, and Bolero. So this is like Virgin Classics. Ultraviolet, their budgie label. And then we've got this thing, Boston Symphony Orchestra, Seiji Ozawa, Sylvia McNair, and Susan Graham on Philips. Goodness gracious, what have we got here? Scheherazade, and Britten's Les Illuminations, and Debussy's La Demoiselle Élue. Wow, look at that. Totally cool. I haven't heard this in centuries. My goodness, it's quite good. I know that, but I forgot that this existed. Oh, I'm so glad I kept it. Maybe I'll put it over on this side and listen to it later. Ravel. Oh wow, this is the non-such thing. Yeah, this great non-such recording. Let's see, we've got the Chanson Madagascar with Jan de Gaetani. It's fabulous, amazing. Cite Auriculaire for two pianos with Paul Jacobs and Gilbert Kalish, also fabulous. And let's see, frontispiece for five hands with the fifth hand provided by Teresa Stern, who was the original producer of these. She was she was the guiding spirit behind the original non-such catalog. And then so it's wonderful to have this. And the sonata for violin and cello, which most people don't know at all, and which is an amazing work. Just two strings, and it's phenomenal, 20 minutes long. Major stuff with Isidore Cohen and Timothy Eddy. So that's really cool on non-such. And yeah, I mean, see, there's like interesting stuff here. Even though you think you know everything there is to know about Ravel. Well, there's more. There's always more. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.